But sometimes you just have to take the leap of faith when you're an entrepreneur. Take a bit of risk,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I did. Finding the right partners to work with you is a bit like finding a life partner. Don't get fooled by the makeup. If you're too
Yeah.
cautious, you might also lose some opportunities. When you're an entrepreneur, you should be ready to face the worst. And yeah, try to be lean. Don't spend too much. And it doesn't matter if you manage to have a huge company or a small company, as long as hopefully it contributes to a better world.
Hi, and welcome to the Seven Figure Foundation series. And today we have Nhat Vuong. Nhat, welcome. It's nice to have you on the show.
Hi, thanks for the invitation. Pleasure to be here.
Great, yeah. And for the ones that are here for the first time, Seven Figure Foundations is about the e-commerce brands, giving them a face. Because oftentimes, and really in the recent years, e-commerce online stores have a bit of an image that they use tactics and that they are using some psychology principles to get people to buy. It gets a bit of a cold image that, it's kind of being detached from the people that are behind the brands. It's not just some businesses that are just trying to grab your money. There are people that are trying to solve problems, and they try to do their part in making the world a bit of a better place, and that is one of them. And I'm really happy that he's with us on the show, and he's going to share with us his experiences, his challenges, and also maybe there are some good tips for you, or if you're a starter e-commerce owner, of what you can do and what you need to avoid when running your business. So Nhat, again, welcome. Very happy that you're here on the show. Could you tell us a bit about your business, the Happy Turtle Straw, and why you started that business?
Thank you, Mark. So it was there was a bit of randomness in there. First of all, around 2018 or so, I came across a video that many people have seen of a sea turtle that was found with a plastic straw stuck in its nose, and it was quite a shocking video for those who haven't seen it. It was, the
Really
turtle
sad.
was like bleeding. They removed the straw. It was really shocking, and it opened a whole movement of people fighting against plastic. And it was in my mind. I mean, I didn't really have an idea about how to solve that back then. But during a trip, I came across a trip in Vietnam, where I'm originally from. I came across a manufacturer who was manufacturing this straws made of rice.
All right.
And I was really intrigued because the first time I saw them, the inventor kind of ate and I was really like, wow, really
Yeah.
surprised and impressed. And that really yeah, with that seed in my mind that I had with the video of the turtle, I kind of decided to create a company named Happy Turtle Straw.
Referencing
And
to the
I
turtle
decided,
that you probably saw in the video, right? To make the turtles
yes.
happy again.
Uh-huh. And so after the trip in Vietnam, I went back to Switzerland and created the company at the end of 2019. And back then I shipped some straws from Vietnam
Mm-hmm.
to Switzerland, and when they arrived, it was around February 2020, and then boom,
Ouch.
COVID.
Yes.
Worst timing ever.
One of my
Um,
questions is like what was your biggest challenge? I can imagine that was one of your biggest challenges.
I mean, back then we were like with hundred thousands of straws that we had organized the shipping, and yeah, I was just like a fool with my straws, and all the bars and our potential clients were basically not allowed to open.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a really rough beginning, but still, we had the shows in Switzerland, so we started talking about it to some potential clients, and they showed interest. They showed interest. So we had to, uh, I had to be like a bit, how do you say, resilient,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
to find another product to sell in the meantime, which happened to be reusable masks that we renamed, and we recycled our logo from Happy Turtle to Happy Turtle Mask.
All right.
And I sold those reusable masks made in Vietnam as well, in order to reduce the disposable ones,
Yeah.
which was also creating a lot of waste and also a lot of sea pollution. And
Yeah,
so
definitely.
we sold a few thousands of these, which kept the company alive until we found some private like investors in Switzerland who
Mm-hmm.
believed in our concept, and that kept the company alive until now. It's been 5 years. And as soon as COVID was in a way over, like a year and a half after, from 2022, we started selling to bars, 4 and 5 star hotels, music festivals,
Mm-hmm.
and we also did a collaboration with Nespresso
All right.
because they happen to use straws for their iced coffee.
Okay, because I was
Uh,
who is going to drink their espresso with the straw? But of course, for iced coffee, it makes it makes a lot more sense.
it's more for summer drinks.
Yeah.
So yeah, we came a long way, but we're still here, and yeah, I mean that's the journey I've been on, and I'm really proud in a sense because it's I haven't go through my story, but basically my parents left Vietnam after the end of the Vietnam War, and
Mm-hmm.
we were able to relocate to Switzerland. So growing up, I always I wanted to do something between Vietnam and Switzerland. And when I discovered the Strohs, I felt, wow, this is the bridge I was
Yeah.
looking for. And yeah, I'm really proud that Vietnam is contributing to this plastic pollution reduction, because Vietnam sadly is in the top five of the countries that unfortunately contribute the most to plastic pollution. I think they're actually number four. And yeah, so I'm in a way proud that from Vietnam that there's this solution that came out.
Yeah, it's great that you be able to find that connection, and yeah, when you said, you know, I started in 2019. Like the first thing that popped into my head was of course COVID, and it's amazing that you kind of turned it into, or at least that you didn't, were like, oh, that sucks and too bad, and you let it down. Like, can you walk me through that? Like, how does it go in your head? You're like, okay, I need to do something in order to like keep it alive. And where did you find that motivation? Where did you get that resilience? Can you maybe walk me through that process?
Uh, well, I guess it was a bit a strong faith in my product because I was immediately sold when I saw we could eat the straws. And when we started showing it around in potential clients in Switzerland, and we start biting the straws in front of them, everybody was like, oh wow, and this wow effect in the face of the people I was meeting was
Mm-hmm.
what kept me going, because I think it was, I mean, everybody was thinking it was really innovative. And I think without, in a way, the validation of those potential clients, I might
Mm-hmm.
have given up. Many companies did actually. We were not the only one who were trying to bring that to Europe.
All right.
And certainly thanks to the support of our investors, and we were able to keep the company alive. And but I know that many gave up. So
Mm-hmm.
I know it's a mix of being stubborn. Uh, you know, I'm a Taurus. I think we're famous to be stubborn,
Yeah.
and so just kept the faith and kept pushing. And when COVID stopped in a way, and things shops were reopening again, I got two of the largest music festival in Switzerland who which order our shows at the same year. So really, I was like, okay, this is it. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what they were waiting for. And yeah, ever since we've been growing. I think we sold over in total 7 million straws, which might
Wow.
sound a lot, but it's still rookie numbers. And yeah, we keep on finding new clients in Switzerland, and of course we'd like to expand in Europe. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but right now there's a bit of a the Swiss franc is pretty strong, and unfortunately, the euro, who historically has been always stronger than the Swiss franc, is actually below. It starts to be quite expensive. To give you an idea, a plastic straw costs around 1 cent of a dollar. Paper straws are more around 2, maybe 3 cents, and we are more close to 6, 7 cents per straw. So,
Yeah.
relatively, it could be perceived as 2 or 3 times more expensive. But when you look
Mm-hmm.
in absolute numbers, we're talking about, yeah, 3 or 4 cents more for a straw, which when you sell a cocktail at, maybe $10, $15, shouldn't be, it's not even like 2% of the cost of
Yeah.
you. So
If you
it
put it in
shouldn't be a big issue.
perspective. Yeah.
Still,
And
we face some resistance when we have to tell them that the price is more expensive than paper straws. Hopefully, this will change in the future as we have more volumes. We benefit more from economy of scale, and then
mm-hmm.
we'll become more competitive with time.
And what is also the benefit of a rice straw than a paper straw?
Thank you. So, I think people who watch the video, I'm pretty sure that the big majority don't like paper straw, like I didn't.
Yeah, I'm one of them.
Paper straw,
I don't like paper
yeah,
straw.
right. They are usually they don't last very long in the drinks. Maybe we're talking 10, 15 minutes. They contain chemicals. They contain uh, PFAS, which is a kind of chemical that our body is not able to remove.
Mm-hmm.
So it stays in your body forever, basically. There have been traces of that. And also, paper need to be bleached by using a chemical product, which also have some residue that stays in the paper. And also paper straw use some plastic film, very thin, but still to make the straw last a bit longer,
Yeah.
which makes the paper unrecyclable. And also the ink sometime outside of the straw is also been found in some drinks after a couple of minutes already, and the accumulation of this makes it that it's not so great. And also the CO2 impact of paper is not so well known, but the majority of the people, but it's actually higher than plastic.
Okay.
It's you're creating basically a paper straw requires more CO2. I mean, creates more CO2 emission than a plastic straw, and it's not our case because we are using waste. We're using a rice that is broken during production.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, we kind of upcycle it in a way,
Yeah.
and by nature, our product don't emit CO2. And so our straw, the rice straw, they last up to 2 hours on average in the drinks. So you have plenty of time to
Yeah.
drink your mojito. And they don't contain any chemicals, so we are certified. We've been FDA approved. We are vegan, gluten free. We contribute to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. We are harmless to the environment and to animals because should our straw end up in the ocean or lake, actually animals can feed
You're
out of
still,
them. So
they can eat it.
that's the
Yeah.
beauty of our that's the beauty of our products.
And if you're still packaged after your cocktail, you can just eat your straw, right? You're still a bit
Yes,
hungry.
absolutely.
If
I
the
actually
peanuts are not enough to satisfy your your appetite, you can just eat your straw. Yeah.
I did, and actually I even cooked the straws and made some spaghettis out of it. So it's absolutely edible, and that's makes it entertaining.
So you tell your friends like, hurry up with the drinks. I'm going to cook and I need your straws.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've been imagining some dishes. So I'm sure you could maybe insert some kind of meat inside,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
but
yeah.
that wouldn't be more. But like, I'm sure you can do some pretty good pasta. I haven't, and I'm looking for if there's any chef in the audience willing to try. To see if we can create new dishes out of our straw. I mean, I'd be happy
Yeah,
to
it would be a good
send them.
marketing video, I think. To get some attention. Yeah, I think that would be
Absolutely,
really
yeah.
fun. Yeah,
If we can get a great chef to do a dish out of our straw, I think that would go that could go viral.
yeah, yeah. I wouldn't be
Gordon,
surprised.
yeah.
And so of course like COVID was a huge challenge for you, but besides that, in the last couple of years, the last 5 years, were there other challenges that you like came across and that you needed to be very intuitive or again resilient to overcome that?
You know, I think one of the thing was the shipping delays because shipping the straws from Vietnam to Switzerland takes at least a month and
All
could
right.
take up to 2 months. And sometimes it was quite time sensitive because I needed to provide the straws to a music festival. So when it's
Mm-hmm.
a restaurant or bar, maybe having a few weeks delay is not a huge deal. But like when it's a festival with fixed date, then every day that passed, I started sweating a bit more.
Yeah.
And that when they started to have the conflict around Somalia and the conflict with Israel and Palestine. I mean, basically the boat had to be rerouted, and instead
Mm.
of going through the Mediterranean Sea, they had to go all the way down to south of Africa and then go back up.
Wow.
And so
Yeah.
it took extra. So that was more this kind of situation. Other challenge where some clients didn't order the straws and didn't pay, and I'm sure I'm not the only company in the world to who face such situation.
Fortunately, not.
Um,
No.
that's yeah, I think that's the
What did
main
you
issue. I
do?
mean,
Yeah, how could you motivate yourself during those periods to just keep on going and not to like give up? Be like, you know what, it's too much.
it was just difficult times. I mean, a lot of worries, of course, but at the end of the day, there's something you cannot really do anything about. Like the delays of the ships, the containers. I mean, I was just praying, and yeah, just asking the universe to help. Fortunately, everything arrived on time, but it was a bit, risky in a way. I mean, should they have arrived late, I mean, the festival would have been in big trouble. We would have
Yeah,
totally lost the trust of our clients. But sometimes you just have to take the leap of faith when you're an entrepreneur. Take a bit of risk,
mm-hmm.
and that's what I did. I guess I believe in my star, and nothing catastrophic happened, but it could have. But in those instances, you just to have to keep optimist. I'm optimist by nature, so that helps as well.
Yeah,
But
that
yeah,
definitely helps. Yeah,
have more serious things. Now with the time, of course, I try to order, of course, the straw earlier and
Hmm.
all this things. Yeah, it's some
Was there
challenge.
like a mistake like early on that you were like, you know, I wish I would have avoided that. That was a big mistake that I shouldn't have made.
Well, with the distributor that didn't really pay, I mean, pay us. It was a bit tricky because they ordered like a container at first and they paid. So I was like, okay, this is a trustable company. But for the second container, um, they didn't pay in full. So since they were in another country in Denmark, it was I, I I realized that yeah, it was hard to recover money from another country.
Yeah.
That's sort of when it if it was a Swiss company, it would be much easier because there are some processes and you can
Yeah,
actually
you
pressure the company.
know how it legally works, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, if they don't react, they could be forced to close down the company. So it's quite a big tool to pressure companies to pay you. But when I was faced with Denmark, I didn't really know where to go. There was some kind of recollection company providing such kind of services, but I didn't know they couldn't guarantee anything. So I was like, and yeah, eventually the company paid a little, but yeah, it was quite just pay a quarter of the amount they were supposed to pay, and yeah, we had to take the loss, sadly, um, and yeah,
Is
I
that
think there are
something you could have
services
avoided, you think?
well, I could have asked them to pay 100% in advance. Yes, that's that
Is
would
that
have
what you
been
do
the
right
way.
now when
Especially
someone abroad asks you?
because, in Switzerland, I give my clients like 30 days to pay.
Hmm.
But yeah, for foreign clients, now I try to get the 100% payment at the order time.
All right.
And I think that would be the easiest way to uh, kind of reduce the risk for such
Yeah.
situation.
Are you not afraid that it will lose you some customers because of that?
Um, well, not too much because I've not pushed too much for European clients. As I said,
All right.
I focused in Switzerland, and when I started seeing the euro starting losing its value, I kind of thought it would be too much effort to try to sell out of Switzerland, and so in a way I limited our risk of such situation by limiting our prospection out of Switzerland.
Yeah. But do you have still like the wish to expand more globally?
Of course, but, it's I will basically need to expand my sales team, and we're not in able to kind of hire a full-time salesperson yet. It's kind of commission-based people, and the challenge is to keep them loyal in a way because of obviously commission base is tough,
Hmm.
and but yeah, I kind of need to push a bit more on the sales until we can reach a point where we can have maybe some people who have a bit of a fixed salary and a commission base. Because
Yeah.
yeah, I, I in a way hired a couple of commission based salespeople, but that didn't go as planned. I guess lack of motivation, and also it's not really interesting if you sell in small quantities. You need to sell at least pallets or even containers, but it's not
Yeah.
easy even for me to sell such amount. So unless you are somehow involved with the horeca market, hotel, restaurant, cafe
Yeah.
market, or with F&B already, and you have maybe a network, that would help a lot. But in our case, the yeah, the people I kind of in a way I started working with, it was not necessarily their strengths, and so yeah, that didn't help. So yeah, it's challenging to find the right salespeople to help you, especially when you don't have much budget to hire, unfortunately. Because we have some revenues, of course, but it's still in a way rookie numbers. And that needs to improve hopefully this year. And right now I'm in Vietnam because I also think to expand a bit here. Um, Better light. And Yeah, I've been starting to explore here if we could find some clients because the transportation cost actually contributes quite a lot to the
To the
high price that
price.
we have in Switzerland.
Yeah.
If here I could sell a few here as well, that could be great for our revenues. But we're still it's still challenging here because I just had a coffee a couple of minutes ago before a call, and they are still using plastic straw in some
Mm.
region because there's no legislation to prohibit plastic yet in Vietnam, or they are not really enforced. So the plastic straw costs relatively nothing
Yeah.
here. It's not even $1. So of course we wouldn't sell at 6 cents here. It would be maybe closer to 3 cents or something. But yeah, it's something I need to explore in the coming weeks actually.
All right, another challenge to dive into and to sort out. Yeah, and so you mentioned a bit your sales team. Is it also something that you do together with some people? Like, do you have a team around you running this business, or is it a lot you, like a bit of a solo entrepreneur in this whole adventure?
I have people helping me. Um, like I have a lady who is Swiss but lives in Spain, and she's been helping me more for anything related to finance, and to help me to have a view on our incomes and revenues and costs on a monthly basis. She kind of helped me with Excel files and everything
Mm-hmm.
to keep track of our revenues, and also like in terms of do we have the actual good pricing, and she helped me to increase the price a bit to be closer to at least be profitable, because at some point
Mm-hmm.
you know kind of for the price I was like just coming up with the price that felt like was a good price, but it turns out
That
it was
people wanted to
slightly too
pay.
low, but
Mm.
like too off. But she helped me to do that, and she's been helping me on and off. I have people helping me to for anything that is related to accounting, but it's external. And I have a bunch of interns. I think I had more than 20 interns
Oh
since
wow,
we
that's a
we
lot.
started. Yeah, fortunately, there's a lot of students that care about sustainability, and I usually ask them to help me for the social media. So it's
Hmm.
something that is hard for the younger generation to around. So it's kind of easy to find them. Everybody wants to do some social media posts. I think it's
Hmm.
kind of easy to do that actually.
All right.
So that's why I have interns.
Yeah,
But
and do
yeah,
you have
it's
for the people that
yeah,
like
so
watch this series?
interns.
Oh yeah, yeah. I just want to ask, like, for the people that watch this series and people that just want to start their journey, maybe they want to just create an e-commerce brand. Like, do you have some tips for them, or things that you say, like, hey, look out for this, or maybe you should try this strategy that really helped me?
Yes, of course. I would say I tried to sell other things in the past. I think first of all, don't invest too much on a website or a big stock. You should just get some samples at the beginning, and show them around. Maybe you need a quick flyer that you can do on a website like canva.com. You can this templates. You can really, in a way, in a day you can start designing your a business card, a flyer, your sample in the hands. You don't even need like a proper like packaging. Just go there, show the products to potential clients, see their reaction,
Mm-hmm.
see if they like it. And if you pass those tests, and it looks pretty positive, then you can. I would start with a very simple website. You can go on, like, I've used quite a lot Squarespace, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't recommend WordPress as a first website. I think website like maybe Wix, Squarespace, those kind of website have pretty good templates to start with at the
Mm-hmm.
affordable cost. And yeah, set up an email. Like, don't use a Gmail address. Start with
Look more
an email
professional
link
with
to your,
yeah.
yeah, like the domain name. Check plug our own website like GoDaddy.com, for example. So yeah, you need a bit of. Fortunately, in the past, I was doing web marketing, so I knew that. But yeah, it's true that for somebody who has never done that, hopefully you have a friend who knows, or you can learn a bit. It's not too complicated, but you'll need to spend a few hours.
Mm-hmm.
But once you have those, you have the website, then you'll have to have a logo. So you have to think of the logo. Start looking at packaging. Fortunately, there are website like Fiverr.com, and you can find people there who help you to get a logo for less than $50. You can also have some early packaging. And then where we were lucky is that packaging companies in Vietnam are much cheaper than in Switzerland,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. So for me, to have a box with the Happy Turtle Show logo, and it was just maybe 20, 30 cents per box. So it was easy to start in a way. Um, and yeah, try to be lean. Don't spend too much. I still don't really have an office. I've been operating from home. I have a warehouse which we rent, and but you pay per pallet
All right.
space.
Yeah.
So really trying to keep the cost low. I even at the beginning did some delivery myself, but now we have a company that does the logistic. And in Switzerland, it's okay. It's not the best because everything is much more expensive. Especially we don't have companies like Amazon, so
Mm-hmm.
there's not so many like third-party logistic companies that can help you with like small packages. Fortunately, our cartons, which are targeted to B2B, of course, have quite a size, so it's fine. But if it would have been like a small package, that wouldn't have been really cost efficient.
Yeah.
To Switzerland wouldn't have been a good place. Actually, I wouldn't recommend much people to start a company in Switzerland this fall because I grew up there and so I see the things from here. But um,
Like
I
tip
wouldn't
number
have
one, like
recommended.
don't start a business in Switzerland.
That really depends on what you do, but for
Yeah.
such company, yeah.
Yeah. But it's a
And
great
yeah,
tip.
one of
Like
the reasons.
start lean. Like check if people are interested. Like get something to show, like a logo, flyer, information. Have a good story. I think that's
Yes.
also important. Like you, of course, have a good story behind the rice straw, and yeah, see if there is some traction, and then you can start building. And I think that's great advice. Yeah, and if you could go back to a little young Nat and you could give him an advice and say like, hey, take care of this or avoid this or do this. What kind of an advice would you give your younger self before you started all this?
Uh, it's, it's finding the right partners to work with you is a bit like finding a life partner, a girlfriend, a wife. I would say it's don't get fooled. by the makeup, if I can make analogy. Is that sometimes you need to know well the people you're going to work with before, and you know sometimes you get tricked. I mean, I got tricked. So uh, you know,
Be less
it's easy
naive,
to
maybe.
say. Sorry.
Would you say to be less naive, to be a bit more like cautious?
Yeah, to be a bit, you know, be more cautious about yeah who you work with. Spend a bit more time. Maybe start you know a little. Don't like over trust in a way. Um, but you know, when I look back, it was hard to detect. For example, the distributor in Denmark that you know he ordered a container, he paid it, he even invited me to Denmark. He took me to his house, introduced me to his wife and children. I mean, I was like, okay, well, that's
Yeah.
looks pretty. You know, I'm not sure everybody would do that. You know,
Hmm.
um, he was also Vietnamese, and we share a similar story. He also arrived to Denmark. And his parents were both people like mine, refugees from Vietnam War. So you know, I was like, cool.
There's a connection.
That's
Yeah.
a cool collaboration, and
Yeah.
yeah, you know. But you know, I don't know exactly what happened on his side. Maybe he also faced some issue because I remember he ordered a lot of masks and you know COVID tests. And I think
Hmm.
at some point he ordered quite a lot because I visited his stock. So he had archers on one side, some masks, some COVID tests, and at some point the tests were not necessary anymore. And I'm pretty sure he must have had ordered too much, and maybe that caused him to
Yeah.
have issues with the
There's
supplier.
always
So
always two sides to a story. So yeah, yeah, perhaps. Yeah.
so you know, I mean, I knew his address. I could have
I
or
know where you live.
taken a flight. Or, I don't know. But you know, I was like, well, I just thought, you know, yeah, it's fine. It's a loss I don't want to take, but you know, I could take in a way. But you know, it was a pricey lesson. But again, I would recommend myself, yeah, to do a bit more your know your customer kind of thing, and make sure you're working with the right person. I think that can really happen to anyone. You know, if you're too
Yeah.
cautious, you might also lose some opportunities.
You can
But
never
you
rule out
know,
everything, you know? Yeah.
somehow to learn some lesson this way, and that's the only way you will remember and improve. I mean, nothing will ever be perfect when you're an entrepreneur. You should be ready to face you know, the worst. I always say, you know, hope for the best, but expect the worst. And yeah, it's a mindset. There's a saying in Japanese that I love. It says, "Fall down 7 times and stand up 8 times."
I love that.
That's basically the
Yeah.
saying is, you know, you're gonna fall during your trip, but the most important is your ability to stand up again.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's a great conclusion to our chat. Like, you know, I think a lot of entrepreneurs, you know, they need to have that mindset. I think otherwise you won't make it. Like, you know, fall down, it can happen. Like, nothing is perfect. Just get back up again and try again. And at some point, you know, you look back and you see all the steps you have made whilst, you know, falling down and getting up again, and you really made progress. I think that's great advice. Thank you, Nat. And I want to thank you for being on the series and sharing your struggles and your journey with us. And yeah, I believe you're doing a wonderful thing, like, you know, making also not only, you know, creating for yourself a living, you know, an income, but also whilst doing that, trying to make the world a bit of a better place, and also doing it from a passion that, you know, connecting with Vietnam and do something there, and also, yeah, make those turtles happy, you know, make the sea life better with all the waste that there is.
There's the
uh,
turtles.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah. I mean, I know I'm conscious that my story is a bit particular. I mean, starting from being a refugee from but everybody can be inspired through the meetings they make, the people they are able to connect with. But yeah, try to find something that is meaningful. After all, life is pretty short, and it doesn't matter if you manage to have a huge company or a small company, as long as hopefully it contributes to a better world. If everybody do a bit, big things can happen.
Yeah.
And I hope when I do this kind of interview is to inspire other people to at least try to do something positive for society. For me, growing up in Switzerland has been a privilege that I have realized over the years, and it's in a way a duty for me to give back to society, to my mother country, if I can say. And so that's what drives me. But everybody's drive will be different, and I just hope that people will find their path. And my last advice is to explore what ikigai means, which is a Japanese term, which is your raison d'être, if I can say. It's really try to find something that you love doing, something that you are good at doing, and hopefully something that contributes to a better world. And if you find those, then the money side will come after.
I couldn't have said it any better. Well said, Nat. Thank you. And thank you for your story. I'm pretty sure you've inspired people watching this to feel like, yeah, I should just go ahead and do. And I think it also helps to get through those challenges if you do something that you care about, that you're passionate about. And I think that is really very inspiring. Thank you, Nat. And I wish you and the Happy Turtle all the best. And I'm pretty sure we'll chat soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Mark. We really appreciate it.